Hi everyone, I'm GameSmith, and I have compiled the ultimate list of tips for those beginning the game Pokémon Legends Arceus. I have broken them up to 5 sections, so feel free to jump around if you feel like you need more help in one area than in another. The first section is general gameplay. Let's get through these quick. 1. Pressing the L3 button will let you run. I pray for the poor souls that didn't know you could do this. Number 2. You can press X in the map to fast travel without having to move your cursor all over the map. Fall damage is real, and you'll lose a bunch of items if you careen off a cliff. Fall damage also exists when you're mounted on a Pokemon, so take care. 4. Save often, even if autosave is turned on. It's just good practice. Many players choose to turn off autosave altogether since they will have more control. And last in the general gameplay section, become acquainted with the new battle style. Moves can be mastered which will allow you to use strong or agile style versions of them. These can be the determining factor in big battles. Section number 2, Pokemon themselves. Remember that you have to change moves manually now. Go into your list of Pokemon and select to change the moves. One of the benefits of this is that you will always have access to your pool of moves even though you can only use 4 at a time. Remember that when a Pokemon learns a new move, it doesn't automatically put that into your moveset. You have to go manually change it. Sometimes you may learn a new move and you don't even realize it until you go check that list. Number 2, TMs do not exist in this game, but the game does allow you to purchase powerful and strategic moves early on. It's a good idea to purchase moves that can beef up your Pokemon's moveset, or moves that can counter Pokemon who have a type advantage over yours. For example, Chimchar can learn Thunder Punch to counter water Pokemon. Number 3, get used to hitting Pokemon in the face to stun them. Don't rely on stealth alone. Spoiled apricorns, mud balls, and sticky balls can often be your best friend, and are required for catching some Pokemon. Number 4, catch alpha Pokemon to be part of your team. In Legends Arceus, a Pokemon's size corresponds with the amount of HP that it has. Alpha Pokemon will generally be stronger and have more HP than their regular counterparts. They make excellent additions to your team. 5. If you're in a pinch in battle, just run away. Your Pokemon will return to you and you can take the time to heal them. When you return to the Pokemon you were fighting, they will be at the same health that you left them at. Another benefit of running away is that you can get rid of status effects. In Legends Arceus, status effects pass after the battle ends, so if you find yourself plagued by poison, just take off and come back. The status effect will be removed. Next, Eevee can be caught early on in the game. It's a rare spawn, but it spawns often enough that you can get enough to get all of the evolutions throughout your gameplay. It's worth it to take the time to farm them. The easiest way to raise friendship levels for a Pokemon is to throw Pokemon at trees and rocks to collect the crafting materials. You can also raise it by battling with them and giving them items, but item collecting is by far the most efficient method. This will come in handy for Pokemon that can only evolve once their friendship level has been maxed out. Once you get access to the space-time distortions, catch the distortion-exclusive Pokemon before completing the game. Once you complete the game, the number of Pokemon appearing in the space-time distortions drastically increases, meaning that these Pokemon are drastically harder to find. Catch them up front, get their Pokedex entries done, and then move on. In Legends Arceus, multiple Pokemon can attack you, and you can't bring out another Pokemon to even the odds. Be careful not to get overwhelmed. Run away if you have to in order to reset the stage and give yourself better odds of survival. Last in the Pokemon section, pay attention to the sounds in the background. There is a reason the background music is not that intense or that loud. Listen for Pokemon sounds and the shiny sound. If you hear the shiny sound, stop what you're doing and save the game so you can reload in case the shiny runs away. Some players turn their sound effects level up to 10 and some even turn their music off, although I wouldn't recommend that, and these sounds will become more noticeable. Note that saving and reloading will not work for space-time distortions. Now for section number 3, we'll go through some of the item tips. Number 1, harvest everything you see, even if it seems tedious, especially in the beginning of the game. Your efforts will be rewarded when items are harder to find and you don't want to spend your money. Number 2, store everything but your needed items. Inventory management is a crucial aspect in the game. You will often come across new items that will take up a slot in your inventory. You may not have room for them. You can craft items in your satchel in the field, but if you craft at a base camp, then you can include the items in your storage, which will make it much more efficient. Number 3, item arrangement will save you. Make sure you favorite items you use often so they appear at the front, and then place others at the back so you can scroll backwards. This will make it easier to scroll between items and will help you catch Pokemon that are trying to flee or attack you. Number 4, purchase a charm for extra protection. The survival charm is always a good choice. Please note that they can only be used once. After they're used, you'll have to purchase another one. Number 5, use grit items to strengthen your Pokemon's effort levels, aka their stats. There is a massive difference between Pokemon of the same level that have higher effort levels, so you will definitely want to utilize these. Number 6, don't just catch Pokemon, battle them for grit items. Stronger Pokemon leave better grit items and leave it more often. They also provide more experience points. Use them to farm levels and increase your stats at the same time. And last, in the item section, once you have accumulated several pastures in Jubilife Village, they will give you the option to release multiple Pokemon. Wait until you have quite a few to release and then do a massive release. You will receive more and better grit items. This is probably the most efficient way to rack up grit items. If you end up with a lot of lower level grit items, you can always trade them in for 10 at a time to get the higher level items. Section number 4, money. Don't waste your money buying items you can easily craft. It's best to save your money for rare items that may pop up later in the game. There are quite a few expensive items that need to be purchased later in the game, so hoard your money now. That being said, one thing you should spend some money on as you go is upgrading your satchel to carry more items. The amount to upgrade goes up each time, and the final 3 upgrades will cost you $60,000, $80,000, and $100,000, respectively. You may not want to spend that much to acquire those, but the early ones are definitely essential. Number 3, it's best to do side quests as you receive them, rather than waiting until the end. The earlier side quest items won't be as helpful near the end game. Also, doing side quests helps build out the village and makes more items and features available as you go along. That being said, there is one side quest that you should not complete until you have access to all of the Pokemon mounts and all of the areas in the game. That is request number 20, the mysterious Will-O-the-Wisp. There are so many of these wisps that if you collect some and not all, you will find yourself backtracking over and over again and will have a difficult time finding them all. My recommendation would be to not collect any of them until you are ready to collect every one of them. However, if you are collecting them, drop a star or some other marker as you go along to make sure that you cover the ones you've already gathered. Number 5, retrieve satchels and send them back to other players for merit points. You should do this as often as possible. Just remember that you need to go onto the Communications tab and go into the Lost and Found and manually send them back. You will collect merit points and sometimes a solid item. You can use these merit points to purchase rare items that help with evolutions. The only other place that you can get some of these items is in the space-time distortions, and those are completely random. Number 6, along the same lines, make sure you have your online settings on. Whenever you die in the game, you lose your backpack with some items, and those items will be returned to you by someone else if you go into the in-game settings and turn the connectivity on. It is automatically set to off when you start the game. And last, when you return to the professor to report the number of Pokemon you've caught, it is always better to report more than less. You will get bonuses for having more than 10 and 20 Pokemon, however the report maxes out at 30, so don't report more than that since there's no added benefit. And now onto our last section, the Pokédex. Be strategic about catching and battling Pokemon. Focus on completing research tasks such as not letting them see you, feeding them, or seeing specific moves in battle. Doing this will save you valuable time in the long run. Remember that you don't have to complete an entire Pokédex page for it to be considered completed. You just need to complete 10 research tasks. You will need to do this for every Pokemon in order to complete the game, so it's best to get them out of the way as you go. This brings up an important point about evolution. Pokemon won't evolve until you tell them to. You have to manually select it in the Pokemon list. I would recommend not evolving them until you're happy with the Pokédex entry. Get the Pokédex entry to at least level 10 to make sure you complete it. This is important for rarer Pokemon, baby Pokemon, and for the starters, which you won't see again until later in the game. It's easier to do this up front than having to backtrack. Number 4. When you encounter baby Pokemon such as Munchlax, Cherubi, Pichu, etc., you should feed them at least 5 times before you try and catch them. They are very rare, so it's good to get this dex entry out of the way so you don't have to keep resetting the area to find new ones to feed. They flee easily, which can make this even harder. And again, make sure to clear their entries before evolving them. And the last tip for the Pokédex section, pay attention to the red arrows next to research tasks. These red arrows indicate you'll get double research levels. Completing one task earns you 1 research level, but these tasks will give you 2, so be on the lookout for when they pop up. Well everyone, I think that's going to be it for now. Thank you for sticking it out with me. I hope that these tips will help you on your adventure. If you have any that I didn't find or didn't think of, please feel free to share them in the comments below. If you got any value out of the video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.